Hello, everybody. I'm here to talk about lifelong play and why it matters. We typically attach play to childhood. Playing is something children like to do all around the world, across cultures. It is the activity of play that children enjoy, with no other necessary real purpose. Just play matters. In play, children engage and very often also create different roles, different scenarios. They use different types of tools, costumes, equipments. A stick can become a rocket. Under the table, there may be a lion cave or a doctor's appointment. Children invest so much energy, often in play and concentration, that a boy, for example, who cannot sit still in a classroom for less than a minute, can stay still for 20 minutes acting as a rock in a play. Also, our son, we were on a holiday, he's 6 years old, and there were no playmates. Suddenly there was a Norwegian boy, a little bit older than him, and we saw them just playing together. Very shortly, he just ran to us just to say that, hey, we created a finger language. This is going very well. Play is such an important part of children's lives, and I think we all agree that so is the case. Play is a very good way to spend your time. In my talk, I would like to extend our thinking and stress that we may not think how important play is for human development, and not only for the children, but for all of us across our lives. In adulthood, there are many professions that are considered not that playful or having nothing to do with play. Only usually creative professions are ones that are considered to have some sort of element of play. Professors like me, being a professor of education, are actually not the extreme profession that is considered to be that playful. Actually, we are considered pretty boring. And we are considered like knowledge workers who seldom are invited to give public talks. We usually give just talks to each other because we are a little bit boring. However, I must tell you a secret. I consider my job to be highly playful. Whereas artists and other creative professions use paint or clay to create some new things to the world, I consider using knowledge that I have learned and play with that knowledge in order to create a better understanding of a particular phenomena. I follow the rules of the game, like we always have to do, even young children do, follow the rules of the game to create something new, so it is justifiable. Also, I learn to challenge sometimes when I'm good enough the rules of the game, and I may create and renew them as well. This is what play is for me. I have been reading lately a lot about play, and also about play in adulthood. And it is actually interesting to discover what is common among adults and professionals who have been very successful in their careers. This also applies to people who may have a very happy life, not necessarily achieving the best positions in society as their professions, but they feel happy and comfortable whatever they do and where they go. These people seem to share the power of play. They seem to continue playing, some sort of play. This person is highly famous. We could see another person here in Finland, like President Obama, playing basketball. In Finland, we have seen President Sauli Niinistö in Käpylä ice rink, playing ice hockey with young children and teenagers and adults. Obviously, there are other hobbies and play activities, but sports is a very typical activity for many people who have achieved highly and are happy in their lives. Yes, there are also other professions that are heavily serious, but it's interesting to see how they also try to play, wearing a wig, being taken still very seriously, dealing with highly serious matters. For me, this is a kind of play. Also, my point is how difficult sometimes and how researchers find it very hard to define what is play, even in young children and even in adults. It's a difficult task, and researchers still continue. A question we might ask, what is then not play? Well, what is it then? What is the DNA, the mechanisms in play that we researchers know already? Why play produces learning? Why play produces and advances society? And why play is good for us, for our well-being and happiness? There is ample research available globally about play. Neuroscientists, educationalists, sociologists, health scientists. I could continue listing the different disciplines that have researched play. And they all have come to the conclusion that one of the key elements that actually happen in play is that we interact usually with others, we engage in social interactions with others, we learn to collaborate with others. We learn to follow the rules that either we have created or somebody else has created for our joint activities. We also learn to create and also to create some new meanings together. We use that knowledge that we already have and practice, apply this knowledge in different types of play when we create something new. Play is also very important for emotional development. We learn to understand our own and the people around us, their emotions. We learn to control and regulate our own emotions while we play with others. Play is also very embodied. We experience, we put our full bodies in play activities usually. Sometimes it is physical activity, sometimes it's other materials that we use and play with them. That is also good for us. We also learn about each other and about ourselves. We develop our sense of self in play activities. We learn how others position us in play activities and how we position others. Identity development is a very important part of what play does in young children and later in adult life if we allow us to play. We also learn to grow into communities. We learn to play the game, the rules, the values, and we become more central participants. That is what we do when we learn a foreign language, even in adulthood. Play is very, very important in all these respects. But there is a dark side in play, like any human activity has a dark side. Like this child in the picture has an iPad, has toys, Legos, is building, is documenting, is sharing. Do all children have these opportunities to play? All humans have the capacity to play, but do they have the resources to play with? A child living in a very affluent family with lots of rich toys, with lots of rich discussions at the dinner table about politics, about media, about recent happenings, about Olympic Games, very quickly start to elaborate those activities and create scenarios in their play activities. How about children who come from more disadvantaged families? Can they use that type of knowledge and resources in their play to practice to grow into a society? Can they play? How early do they have to work? All this happens. And also, what is very important to understand that while we play, be it children or adults, we are also creating the future. And while we are positioning each other into different roles, we may learn that what I am and what I am capable of. And this sometimes, in some play activities, may limit your possibilities. So understanding the interactions that go on in play is very, very important. And we must be careful in not producing and reproducing cultural stereotypes, gender stereotypes. What are the tools and toys, for example, children use? Are they full of cultural knowledge that positions children in particular roles and positions? These are questions that we need to be aware of. And I think creating conditions where everybody can play and where play is given an opportunity to flourish in equal terms is highly important. And I think many people are now recognizing this, and there is this wave of interest in play throughout the life course. And different organizations, educational institutions, workplaces are developing different practices that model these ingredients and learning mechanisms that take place in play. This is important. Unfortunately, at the moment, we know that, for example, education globally is not doing a very good job in creating playful, creative opportunities for children or young people. Actually, as the Finnish philosopher Esa Saarinen says, and I believe he is right, he says that there are many people who work hard and who are very enthusiastic what they do. Unfortunately, most of them are under 7 years old. I think he's right. And in our work at Helsinki University and in many other places in Finland and globally, there are great efforts being made that try to bring play and playful learning into life. Creating conditions for playful learning is seen very, very important. How does it look like? What does it mean? Is it sugarcoating education, making educational workplaces just fun places to be? We all know that this is a very difficult task actually, and we need a lot of research, knowledge exchange. One discipline cannot solve this. We need all of us to join in this effort to create these opportunities for playful that are meaningful, that really create learning that lasts, that creates more opportunities than discloses anyone's learning journeys or happiness curves or lives. This is very important. We need to not only look at young children, but also elderly. As you could see in the first slide in my presentation, I had this picture from an elderly person. Play is very important for the elderly as well. Being engaged, being part of the digitalized society, being active citizenship throughout your life course is very, very important. In my own research unit, we have been very interested to create playful opportunities, and our mission is to help our student teachers, future teachers, to relearn to play, so that they can engage in play activities with their students. We have a lab where we create and co-create with different partners representing working life, industry, educationalists, learning scientists, game designers. We create different types of activities and reflexively try to understand whether they really produce that type of learning and play that we want to see. Our lab is very different from the rest of the classrooms that you can see at our university. We have been surprised to see that while we want to invite children and our students here into this space where we reflectively design and consider not only the social practices but the material spaces where play and learning can happen, this space has been reserved so often. And I have discovered actually that our university administration and even the heads are using this for their own meetings. So we have a fight going on. Who can use this space? You need spaces, but you need wise knowledge to create those social activities that promote play and promote learning. This is a serious challenge, and I also challenge you. I want to end my talk by saying that although we do not yet know exactly how to define play, but we know that there is very important processes and elements going on, we need to consider and take play seriously. I encourage you to continue or start play and try to remember to create in your own areas and communities a playful attitude, playful opportunities for everybody. Playful learning and lifelong play is in our hands. Thank you.